Welcome to Smoke Signals, everybody. I'm Matt Montgomery, along with head football coach Wayne Coleman. Coach, third week in a row, you ran into the district leader. You had White House, then Pine Tree, and Marshall. All three of those guys are 4-0 at the top of the district, and boy, Marshall was. They proved it last week. They're a great football team.
They are, and we really played the tough part of the schedule right now in district, and so things will get a little easier for us. But regardless of that, you still got to go out and play your butts off and execute.
Another matchup situation that was a problem. They had those 300-pound tackles defensively. And Coach, I thought Nacogdoches' defensive backs were good. Well, Marshall's were just as good. They really took away a lot of the short game for you. I mean, you caught them on some deep stuff, but boy, they were really physical at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they're very talented on defense. Got great size, great quickness. They're gonna make it a few rounds in the playoffs, I'm sure, this year. Quarterback, is going to carry them a little ways. So that's a great football team we played.
You did some good things offensively. I mean, you had some good runs, and we'll see some highlights here in just a minute. And Patrick threw the ball much better this week.
Yeah, he's back-to-back games. He's been over 50% in his completions, which when you're having to take some deep shots like we are, that's good. So we're very pleased with his progress. We're getting better. We are. It's just anytime you're playing somebody this good, every mistake is exaggerated.
Probably the most physical game that I can remember this season. I mean, and that Marshall had a lot to do with it. They're just a very physically strong football team. And you look like you came out okay. I saw some little dings here and there, but looks like everybody's pretty healthy going into Hallsville this week.
Yeah, no concussions. Maybe some, tweak ankle, tweak. We got one elbow on Almazan, but for the most part, pretty healthy.
Let's look at some of the highlights. Jacksonville versus Marshall. Here's Clater to Carpenter for 36. Patrick getting pushed there.
Yeah, he took a big hit on that one and stood in there and delivered the ball.
There's a nice defensive play by your sophomore, Isaiah Mallard, forcing the fumble, and Huddy recovers it.
Isaiah had his best game of the year, which is saying a lot for, a sophomore against a good team like that.
Yeah. Here's your touchdown, the first score, and Clater to Gibson for 46, and boy, Patrick drops it right here in the middle of coverage and perfect throw.
Yeah, a little more air on that than we wanted on that one. We wanted to throw that a little more on a line, but Tyrese made a great catch.
Physical run here by Bryson.
Bryson only knows one way, north and south, and he runs hard when he gets the ball.
And here's your second touchdown. Patrick hits Kennedy for 6.
Good adjustment by Casey there, getting the inside leverage, and Patrick giving him time to get open.
So it's Hallsville this week, Coach. Hallsville looking at the same situation you are. They don't have a district win, and this is a big ball game. I mean, this is a game where you guys have 3 games remaining, 2 of them at home, and you're on the road this week, but this is a game that is definitely winnable, and I know that's what you've been sharing with the kids. As bad as it looks right now, we're not out of this thing.
Well, and I told them the story this morning about the woman that tried to swim from the California coastline to the Catalina Islands in 1952, and she got 15 miles of the 16 miles done, and a little fog set in, and so she gave up. She didn't realize she was a mile short. And sometimes you got to fight through the fog, and that's where we're at. We've swam most of the way through this season, and we've got a chance now to reach our goal, and we got to keep swimming. And these kids have been very high character this year. They show up every day for practice, work hard. I have no doubt that we'll be ready to play Friday.
And I noticed that. I went to practice yesterday, and I noticed that. I mean, it doesn't look like a football team that's struggling right now to get some wins. It's just like it's starting all over again every week. And I know what you mean by character. I mean, there's not the rats aren't jumping off the ship, if you will, like I've seen in the past. It's a good group of kids.
It is, and that was kind of one of our goals going into the season of let's separate ourselves, regardless of how many games we win this year. Let's separate ourselves by our character. And we wish we were 6-1 instead of 1-6. Everybody would. But these kids have done a great job of being good, positive role models in the school and taking care of their academics. And right now, realizing their playoff season, is starting. And we got to win Friday night. And I think I think the kids are going to really show up and show out.
Well, let's talk about Hallsville. They've struggled as well. They've I think that they're 0 in district. I believe they won one game, I think, too. So, or is it two?
2 games.
2 games, okay. May not have played the people that you played in Carthage and
Right.
Henderson in non-district, but talk about Hallsville. What do they do?
They kind of run this modern-day version of the wing tee from shotgun. A lot of buck sweep stuff on offense, pulling the guards. They've got another quarterback that can run. He's not what we saw last week in Marshall, but he's a very athletic kid.
Defensively, what will you do to defend that? I mean, any changes? I know last week with Marshall, when you're trying to defend Savion Williams, you need 14 men on the field. Can't do that. So what will you do this week to try to contain him?
We've got to focus on being unselfish defensively. Guys that are going to have to make their run fits and spill the pulling guards. They're going to pull a guard on almost every play. So our guys, we didn't do a very good job of that last year. We watched the video. So we're going to work hard on it and see what happens. We're going to work on being unselfish.
Now, this is not a wing tee version like Palestine's, is it?
No, much more of a spread look than Palestine's. They'll be in the gun. They'll have wideouts. They will run the buck sweep like Palestine, but they'll do everything from the shotgun. So it's a little different.
What do they do defensively that your offense will attack?
A lot of multiple looks on defense. They'll run a 3-man front and then a 4-man front. And then they'll play some cover 2 in the back end so that they can double cover some of your better receivers. So they're going to mix it up a lot. We've just got to be ready and smart about our RPO game, about when we've got to throw it and when we have to hand it off.
Coach, turnovers are such a big part of the game, and you guys have really been doing a good job, despite the record and everything, of stripping. I mean, you guys really. I mean, when you run with a football against Jacksonville, you better be ready because guys are going to be coming in trying to chop it out. Yeah,
the kids have taken coaching very well there. They kind of, we make a big deal out of it. Every Monday morning, no matter, if we win or lose on Friday night, we start off every Monday morning at 7:30 with turnover awards. And it's a big deal to the kids. They take pride in it, and it's something that they can turn games around for you. So something we're going to keep emphasizing.
I want to switch gears just a little bit. I'm going to talk about your sub-varsity level, even maybe 7th and 8th grade, and kind of let our listeners and viewers know a little bit about what's going on with that at those different levels. I know that those kids are competitive, playing really well right now.
They are. Our 7th and 8th grade teams, they're winning right now. My 9th and JV teams are struggling, kind of like the varsity right now. Both of them are.
But they play hard. I'm going to those games, and they're just like, they're undermanned and undersized, but they're in every game.
Yeah. And the JV, sometimes we have to shuffle kids around and move kids up from the JV and move kids back down to the JV. Those kids have been really unselfish, and they had a big win over Nacogdoches JV, and they continue to show up every week and compete.
Back to Hallsville, Coach. What are the keys to the game for your team to get the win?
I think for sure, be unselfish on defense, be in the proper place on your run fits. Last year we didn't do a good job of that against them. And then offensively, we didn't take what they gave us. So we had we watched last year's film and we did a lot of good things, but we just, at the key moment, didn't do what we were coached to do and didn't run the ball we were supposed to, didn't execute the route the way we were supposed to. So we've got to be more disciplined for sure Friday night.
And last thing, Coach, just so that our viewers will know, you're not eliminated from the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, it's a one-game season for these last 3 games, obviously, but you're still alive.
Yeah.
You control your own you control your own destiny, obviously, if a couple of things happen, I think.
Sure. I mean, if we sit here and we beat a Hallsville team and a Mount Pleasant team who are both like us struggling right now, if we beat both of those teams and then go into the Lindale game with a chance to get our 3rd district win, you could end up in a 2 or 3-way tie for that last playoff spot.
Well, it's Jacksonville versus Hallsville as the Fighting Indians hit the road. We'll be on live at 6:45 on jhs-sports.com. Hope to see you there. For head coach Wayne Coleman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signal.